woke up this morning and I looked out the window and I saw a beautiful sunrise. Vivid pinks and oranges. It was beautiful. I thought, you know what? This would be a perfect time to get a time lapse to start off the video. And so I did. I rushed out, set up the GoPro on the tripod, and then immediately the sky just started going to gray. I think I missed the prime sunrise colors by about 10 minutes, so let that be a lesson to me. Anyway, welcome to my camp. This has been my home for the last, I think, about 16 hours. It's 8 o'clock now, and I've been here since about 5 p.m. last night, so I guess that's 15 hours. It's not really a campsite. It's more of just a place that I parked on the side of a dirt road, but it got the job done. You don't need anything fancy, especially if you're just staying in a place for one night. You basically just need a place to park. And I chose this particular spot to park because the first thing that I wanted to see today is just about a mile or two down the road. Pretty quick and easy access this morning. So let me finish getting ready for the day. Let me finish packing up, then we'll hit the road for a mile or two. I believe we have arrived. Hey man, it really is kind of a gloomy day today, isn't it? The plan for today is to visit several sites in Utah's West Desert. Right now, I'm at the easternmost, basically, of those sites. Interstate 15, which is the main north-south running corridor through Utah, is only 6 or 8 miles over in that direction. But we are going to be going west toward the Nevada border as we continue on through this video. This place is much more extensive. It has much more rock art than I thought it would. A lot of really interesting panels that could be maps, possibly. What do you think? I mean, I've just shown you a small handful of the panels here. Almost every boulder, it seems like, has something on it, even if it's just a little, bighorn sheep figure or something like that, or a squiggly line. There's a lot here. This place is called Paxton Corral. And there's no sign or anything like that. You just have to know that it's here and know where it is. Really neat, under the radar rock art site in a state that has a lot of rock art. This is one of the more unique spots, I think. Definitely worth visiting. And I think it's always especially fun to find rock art where the artist or the writer, however you want to put it, incorporated the natural features of the rock. Like right here, there's a little divot, a little hole in the rock, and then there are concentric circles going out from that hole. What does it mean? I have no idea, but just interesting to take note of. I'm now at a place that I passed by yesterday and that I saw on the map, on Google Maps, marked as Historic Stone Corral. And I couldn't find any other information about this place, but I mean, it is what it says on the tin. This is an old stone corral. These stones are huge. Like these are boulders. These must have been moved with heavy machinery, So this must have been from the, I don't know, early mid 1900s, I would guess. But again, there's just no information about this site. I'll fly the drone here in a second, and I'll put some drone footage over this while I talk. It looks like there are a couple of of sections here. A couple of different sub-corrals, I guess you could say. Yeah, I don't know. Any thoughts about this spot? I've got nothing else to say. It just looked cool and I saw it marked on the map. It's marked as a tourist attraction on Google Maps, and it has 0 reviews. And so a lot of times when you come to a place like this, and if it is on Google Maps, then people who have visited the site will leave reviews and they'll maybe give a little bit more historical context for the site, but there's none of that for this. Just a stone wall. I mean, this took a lot of work. This took a lot of work to put together. I think there's a little pond, like a little watering tank for stock over there, for cattle over there. And yeah, weird little stop. From here, I'm going to continue on westward. I think I have about 10 miles of driving to do, deeper into the desert, deeper to the west to get to destination number 3, I guess, of the day. So I'll see you there. This little above ground swimming pool sized thing is a spring. This is a natural spring. Are those fish? Are those goldfish? What is this orange color that I'm seeing? The wind needs to stop. It's messing up the surface of the water. I can't really see what this is here. Those are fish. Wow. Okay, anyway, this is a spring called Black Spring, and it's notable for 2 reasons. First, it's a spring, it's a water source out in the middle of stinking nowhere in the desert. So it's an important water source. And there is a bunch of obsidian on the ground. Let's see if we can find a nice piece here. Whoop. Battery or camera is slipping. This is a chunk of obsidian. And if the sun is right, you can see the ground just glittering. There is a little bit of sun now. We're moving into clearer skies, by the way. In this direction in the west where we're headed, it's nice and clear, but over in this direction, it is super dark and ominous. But anyway, just, I mean, thousands, millions of pieces of obsidian on the ground here. Really, really pretty. And so Native Americans would have come to this area both for the spring and for the obsidian. I'm sure if you looked around, you'd find some arrowheads, maybe, if you're super lucky. I just put the long zoom lens on the camera. Let's see if we can get a better look at those fish. Goldfish or koi or something. That's incredible. I can't believe there are fish in here. How warm is it? Is it warm? Let's see. It's cold. That is not warm water. The water is going into this tank here. From there, it's being piped in from somewhere. Looks like the spring itself is over this way somewhere. They don't really seem to be swimming. They're just kind of, maybe they're conserving warmth. They're just like huddled together. Huh. Pretty desolate place. I love it. About a mile back down the road, I passed a little side road that I want to go investigate. There's a spot on the map that I saw called Obsidian Beds. And so I want to go check out the Obsidian Beds, and I think that little side road goes to the Obsidian Beds. I don't really know anything else about it. You know, is there going to be more obsidian than there is here? I have no idea, but I want to go check it out and find out. Okay, I have an answer. I'm at what I'm gonna call the first Obsidian Bed, and I have an answer to the question of, is there more obsidian here? Yes, there are. I mean, all of this black that you see, this is all obsidian. It seems to be a different kind of obsidian. It has a little bit more brown in it. Let's see if I can find a good example. I don't know if you can see the little bit of brown in here. Okay, it's getting uncomfortably windy out there, but I grabbed a few more pieces to show you guys. Let's see if I can convey that brown to you. I might have to take pictures and then put them on the screen. I don't know if it's coming through in the video. Let's go on to what I'm gonna call Obsidian Bed 2. It's just down the road a little bit. You can see I've got both of these spots marked. This is Obsidian Bed 1 and 2. It's just a few hundred feet away, actually. In fact, I can see this next spot. Yeah, I easily could have walked there, but I guess I'm driving there. That first spot was kind of on top of a hill, on top of a knoll. This spot is down in a little bit of a depression. Maybe the wind won't be as bad down here. Nope, the wind is just as bad. We have a pit here. I don't know if this pit is like, is this a natural thing? Or has this just been dug out? Has this just been excavated? I'm not sure, but once again, all of this black is obsidian. And once again, the stuff here is more of that brown obsidian. It's not quite as shiny as the stuff at Black Spring. Doesn't seem quite as pure, I guess. But I've never seen brown obsidian like this before. I like it. Ooh-wee, it's one of those windy days where it's just kind of hard to think outside because it's so loud and there's a lot going on with all that wind. But from here, I'm gonna go on to the next spot that's a few dozen miles away. I'm not gonna record the drive, I don't think. I'm just gonna drive it and I'll show you the spot once I get there. This place is fantastic. I've wanted to come here for years and years and years, and I never have because it's not really on the way to much of anything. You have to make a detour to come here, but I'm glad I have. This place is essentially the little brother, the completely unknown little brother of the Great Salt Lake, which is about 145 miles to the north of here. This lake, so this is a dry lake bed, mostly dry lake bed, usually dry lake bed, but occasionally this does have water in it. This is called Sevier Lake, and it's spelled like Sevier, but I believe people say Sevier. This lake is large, not as large as Great Salt Lake, but it's about 25 miles long and about 5 miles wide. I'm kind of toward the southern end of it right now. And it's huge. It's huge and it's empty. And it's just surrounded by mountains. It's a windy day. And I actually, let me show you something. I just measured the wind speed with this thing. This is an anemometer, or a windmometer, as my wife likes to call it. And we're getting about 17 mile an hour winds. It's consistently about 15 with gusts up to about 17 and 18. Cool little thing. I've had this thing for years. I usually forget that I have it, but I remembered today. I'll put a link to this down below, or if they're not selling this one still, I'll put a link to the equivalent one. It wasn't too expensive, like $25 or $30 if I'm remembering right. And if we look back behind me, I don't know if you guys can see this, but on the horizon there are some dust clouds. There's a dust storm going on over there. That is yet another dry lake bed. So there's Sevier Lake here, and then over there there's what's called the Wawa Valley Hardpan, which is a fantastic name. But focusing on Sevier Lake here at the dry lake bed at hand, this is almost always dry, or mostly dry. Like right now it's a little bit moist out here. When it's completely dry, you can drive out here. Like I'm seeing tire tracks out on the dry lake bed here. Right now it's a little bit moist, and so I'm not going to be driving out there. But this is the kind of thing that the Bonneville Salt Flats is, like just this dry, crusty, salty lake bed. And speaking of salt, let me show you the spot right next to where I parked. Check this out. This is the reason that I parked at this particular spot along what seems to be a raised up causeway that cuts into the lake. I just kind of stumbled across this. I was planning on going further up the valley this way, but I saw the dirt road leading over this way. Thought, yeah, let me check it out, and I'm glad I did. But I don't know where this goes really. But look at this beautiful little puddle with super clear water with that beautiful aqua or turquoise color to it. And then we have these what look like little salt crystals. There's something submerged in the water here, and then these rock crystals are growing on it. Isn't that cool? This water is very cold, and I'm not gonna taste it, but I'm guessing it's super salty. These are all, this is all salt crystals down here. Whatever these things are, these pieces of wood, it looks like, are encrusted with salt. Harsh environment. Tough place to be. When there is water in the lake, which happens I think only like a couple times a century, it is very rare that it is actually filled up. But when it is, there's about 3 feet of water, so it gets to be about 3 feet deep. Off in the distance here, I see another little turquoise pool and some miscellaneous, what looks like trash. Let's go check this out. And yeah, the ground is definitely soft. You can see my footprints. And if I'm leaving those footprints, I'm certainly not going to take a massive heavy vehicle like the Land Cruiser out here. That doesn't mean that other people haven't. You can see these tracks right here. And these lines of tracks over here. These are the piles of trash that I wanted to investigate. I don't know what these are, and I'm slipping deeper into the mud here. I wonder if this is part of some sort of salt mining operation or salt harvesting, like salt evaporation operation from years gone by. I don't know, but let's go check out the little pool, the colorful little pool over here. Or not. I'm sinking deeper into the mud. Well, let's see. Let's try going a different route. Nope, that's muddy. Oh. To the left is not the way to go. And neither is to the right. Okay, we are not gonna make it over there. Maybe I'll go fly the drone around, go fly it over there. Man, what a crazy spot. You know what would be I was gonna say fun adventure, but maybe it's a fun adventure. To walk the length of this dry lake bed, 25 miles, maybe camp out in the middle, assuming it's dry, of course. It'd be kind of brutal when it's muddy like this, but that would be fun. All right, let's fly the drone a little bit more. This place is called Masada. It's named after the famous hilltop fortress and archaeological site and World Heritage Site in Israel that this place bears a passing resemblance to. I've wanted to come here for a good 13 or 14 years. I first learned about this place back then. This is a pretty obscure rock climbing area, but I wanted to come here because these are just some really impressive cliffs. They've got to be, I don't know, 300 or 400 feet high, I would guess. This rock is quartzite, which is beautiful rock, extremely hard rock. It's metamorphosed sandstone, I think. Same stuff that this boulder that I'm sitting on top of is made of. I'm gonna be honest, the plan originally was to climb to the top of the formation here, but I'm tired, and so I think I'm gonna leave that for another day, another adventure. But let me show you the much more famous mountain that's off to my left here. It might be a little bit hard to see because of just the shadows and the way the sun is facing sort of right into the camera here, but this mountain right here is called Crystal Peak or Crystal Mountain. I've seen it called both of those, and it's just a bizarrely white mountain surrounded by much darker mountains. It's made out of some sort of, I think it's a volcanic tuff, and it just stands out all by itself as this rounded white landmark in this part of Utah. The main road that I've been driving is called the Crystal Peak Road, and it goes past the mountain over this way. I went to this mountain in a previous SUV RVing video, and I climbed that mountain in that video. It's a really unique place up there. I'll put a link to that video down below if you want to check it out. And speaking of climbing mountains, again, I was going to climb Masada today. I was even thinking of climbing another mountain kind of around the corner over there if I had the time, but clearly I don't today. And so I think we're gonna wrap it up in this area, which is a shame because there's obviously a lot that I want to see and do here. I'm just a little bit out of time and a little bit out of energy for it. But the West Desert, that's what this part of Utah is called. It never disappoints. There's a lot of really fantastic stuff out here that is just incredibly remote, super obscure, barely ever sees any visitors. And those are all my favorite attributes of a place. And spectacular. A lot of this stuff is spectacular too. So, I think I'm gonna get off this boulder first of all, and I'm gonna try to get out of the wind. It's just been relentless today. And yeah, let's get back to the car. And I'm gonna drive a couple hours out of here. The place where I wanna be tomorrow is, I think, a 3-hour drive away. I don't know if I'll do all of that this afternoon or tonight, but I'll try to get a good chunk of it taken care of so that I just have about an hour of driving to do tomorrow. But man, I love this place. Again, this is one of those places, I think I've mentioned this once or twice before in the videos. I want to just, come out here with a camper, with a motorcycle, with a dirt bike, and just spend a week or 2 or 3 wandering around, exploring the dirt roads on the dirt bike, just seeing where all these little side roads go, seeing what little wonders I can find. Of course, the main problem with that is that there are no gas stations around here, so you would need to bring many extra gallons of gas, but that's something that can be dealt with. Anyway, guys, let me get back to the car and drive and find a campsite, and then we'll wrap this up. Once again, I've found a campsite just in the nick of time. Nice spot, quiet apart from the wind, nice mountain views, and I'm about 15 minutes from the town of Cedar City, which is right here. Cedar City is a major town in this part of Utah, so I'm a little bit north of there just to give you some reference. And so, what was your favorite spot that I visited today? I've got 6 listed here. Paxton Corral, that was the rock art site. Historic Stone Corral, Black Spring, Obsidian Beds, Sevier Lake, and Masada. For me, Sevier Lake was definitely the highlight of the day. Again, I'd never been out there before and I'd been meaning to. It's really just like a completely ignored little brother to the Great Salt Lake. I mean, Great Salt Lake itself is kind of ignored by people in Utah. And so to say that Sevier Lake is even more ignored than that is saying something. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Let me know what your favorite part was. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm tired, I'm gonna go to bed. I'll see you guys in the next one. Be sure to check out Adventure Know-How, my new site, where you can gain access to a map of all of my free campsites, plus monthly bonus videos that you won't find anywhere else. Learn more at adventureknowhow.com. And for links to everything else SUV RVing related, visit suvrving.com. Links to these sites and more will be in the video description.